So Arsenal back in Premier League action this Saturday here at the Amex Stadium in Brighton, looking to follow up that impressive victory in the North London derby. In this video, we're going to be looking ahead to that game. Just before we get started, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It's free of charge. It does help the channel to grow. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Please share the content around and drop your comments in the box what your thoughts are ahead of this big Premier League game. So this is the Brighton versus Arsenal match preview coming up right after this. Hello, my name is Richard. Welcome back to my channel. Over and over again, the Arsenal podcast. I say in this video, we're going to be looking ahead to Saturday's big game here at the Amex Stadium against Brighton. Of course, Brighton have made a great start to the season, haven't they? So this is going to be a big test of our newfound form. See if we can carry on and make it 4 victories in a row in the Premier League. We're going to be looking at previous meetings between the sides. I'm going to pick out a player who's played for both clubs. There's been a few of them over the years. We're going to look at current form. We're going to predict the lineups and also give a score prediction. So loads to get through. So let's get started. In history then, Arsenal and Brighton have met on 23 occasions. Not that often when you look at the history of football. We've won 14. There's been 4 draws and Brighton have won 5. So although Brighton have only won 5 of those 23 games, 3 of those 5 victories for them have come in the last 7 meetings. In fact, last season's 1-0 victory here at the Amex Stadium ended a run of 5 meetings without a victory for Arsenal. And that was also our first victory here in the league since April 1981. We've only actually won here 3 times in the league. That's in 8 previous visits. And we've only won 4 of the last 12 league meetings with Brighton, home and away. So they have been a bit of a bogey side for us in recent years. So last season's visit then, very similar to this time actually. We came into that game, just started to turn a corner following a poor run of results. Of course, this was just after we'd beaten Chelsea so impressively on Boxing Day, if you remember that 3-1 victory, very similar to our 3-1 victory over Tottenham last week. So the similarities are there for all to see. Of course, in that game last season, it was very tight as we expected it to be. We had a poor record here at the Amex Stadium. In fact, we'd never won in this stadium in the Premier League before. But it was Alexander Lacazette came off the bench in the second half. And within a minute or two, he had got the crucial goal. It was a good run down the right-hand side from Bukayo Saka. Pulled the ball back to Lacazette. He took a touch before firing in at the near post. That proved to be the only goal. It proved to be a big victory for Arsenal as well. It helped us to move away from the bottom half of the table. And it was one of the games that was a turning point in the season. Let's hope this visit this weekend can have a similar impact. So there's been quite a few players over the years that have played for both Arsenal and Brighton. But Danny Welbeck, of course, who's currently playing for Brighton. Ben White, of course, who's at Arsenal, who came from Brighton. Also, we've had players like Steve Sidwell and Mark Flats as well. But the one I wanted to focus on was a player from the 1970s, an Arsenal legend, Sammy Nelson. Nelson was born in Belfast in April 1949. He joined Arsenal in 1965 before turning professional a year later. He played in the 1966 Youth Cup victory for Arsenal. He made his first team debut in October 1969. He played 4 times in the double season in 1971. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough to earn him a medal. In fact, he was second choice behind Bob McNabb for a number of years in the early 1970s. In fact, until McNabb left the club in 1975, Nelson then became the regular left back in the team. And of course, he did play in the 1979 FA Cup final victory over Manchester United. In fact, he played in all 3 of those FA Cup finals at the end of the 1970s and also in the 1980 Cup Winners' Cup final. That proved to be the swan song of his Arsenal career, as he did leave in 1981, having made 339 appearances and scoring 12 goals. He did go to Brighton in 1981, stayed there for 2 years and played 45 times over that period for Brighton. His career there did end, unfortunately, with relegation out of the First Division in 1983. Although Brighton did reach the FA Cup final that season, Nelson was not selected in the squad and he retired soon afterwards. So the player I was selecting today, who's played for both Arsenal and Brighton, Sammy Nelson. So we've just hit form, haven't we, with 3 wins in a row in the Premier League, plus the Carabao Cup victory over Wimbledon. It's actually 5 wins now in our last 6 games in all competitions. And that was after losing, of course, our first 3 Premier League games. So we've really turned our form around. We're a lot more solid at the back, only conceded 1 goal in all of those victories. That was, of course, Son's consolation for Tottenham last weekend. For Brighton, then they've also enjoyed a really good start to the season, actually. Only 1 defeat in their 7 matches this season, although that 1 defeat did come here at the Amex against Everton, although that was their only defeat in their last 9 home matches. That goes back to last March when Leicester won here 2-1. So Brighton are certainly in good form as well. So this should be a really good open game. In terms of the lineups, then, this is how Brighton have been generally playing. They've had Sanchez in goal. They generally play with a back 3, don't they, which has been Burn, Dunk and Duffy. Also, Webster can play there as well. In midfield, they've had wing backs with Veltman and Koreka, who's their new signing, of course, this summer. And in the centre, they've generally had Gross and Bissouma, although Bissouma has been injured and Lallana has come in. They've also got Alzate, of course, who can play there, Mo there as well. And Tariq Lamptey, who's just coming back from an injury, he could be in contention for this game as well. Then in their front 3, generally been Trossard, Welbeck and Maupay. Of course, Maupay is their top scorer. Got a little bit of a history, hasn't he, in games against us. They've also got Connolly as well, who can play there, McAllister and Sonny Marsh as well. So that's going to be roughly the Brighton lineup I'm expecting for this game. In terms of our starting team, I'm not expecting too many changes from last week at all. Obviously, Granit Xhaka is now out until January with that knee injury he suffered against Tottenham. So that's going to be the only change I would expect. So I think it'll be Leno in goal. I think the back 4 will be now what's looking like the settled back 4. Tomiyasu, White, Gabriel and Tierney. I think that we will go with the 2 in midfield. I think it'll be Partey and I think Sambi Lokonga will come in alongside him. And then the front 4 will be the same with Ødegaard playing in number 10. I think Smith Rowe will probably be on the left again, Saka on the right and Aubameyang through the centre. Of course, Pepe could come in. We may go back to the shape that we played at Burnley, which saw Ødegaard maybe dropping a little bit deeper, Pepe on the right-hand side, and maybe Smith Rowe in the number 10 with Saka on the left. So there are options there. Lacazette, of course, as well. He did score the winner last year. I'll be itching for a game. He's not been getting many minutes lately. So, but they're the lineups I'll be expecting for this game. Well, it's always a tough game, isn't it, here at the Amex? I say over the years, we haven't done particularly well, but we are in good form. But then so are Brighton. They did get a last-minute equaliser in their local derby last weekend against Crystal Palace. So they're really buzzing coming into this game. I say they've only lost 1 game in the league as well. They would have gone top, actually, if they'd beaten Palace. So it just goes to show what a great start they've had. Of course, Graham Potter is a fantastic manager. He's doing a great job there. And it's going to be a very, very tough game for Arsenal. I think it's important that we try to get some momentum. I think this is our biggest test, actually, since we turned the corner, if you like, with the 3 wins that we've had in the Premier League. This is certainly going to be the biggest test. And if we're going to win this game, we really are going to have to play at our very best. But it's going to be tight. It's going to be tough. I wouldn't be surprised if it was very similar to the last couple of years where there's not been many goals. But I do feel as though maybe we've got a little bit of momentum at the moment. We are going to miss Granit Xhaka in midfield, but I think we'll just about come out on top. I can see it being very similar to last season. I think it'll be Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel because there is loads of great stuff coming up over the next few days. Of course, tonight it's the Arsenal Women's Show with the panel on, the usual guys coming in. We've got a lot to talk about. 2 good victories for the Arsenal women, top of the WSL, into the semi-final of the FA Cup, and also as well starting the Champions League campaign this week as well against Barcelona. So that's tonight at 7:30. Please join us for that. And then tomorrow, of course, we've got the double watch along. Arsenal women kicking off away at Aston Villa at 5:15. This game at Brighton kicks off at 5:30. So I'll be going live at 5 o'clock and doing the watch along of both games at the same time, keeping you updated with everything that's going on. So that's going to be a really good show. So make sure you do tune in for that. So say, please subscribe. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like as well. Please share the content around and drop your comments in the box as well, what your score prediction is for this game against Brighton, what your team selection would be. Do you think he's going to bring Pepe in and go back to the Burnley shape? Or do you think Sambi Lokonga will just come in place of Xhaka and will play the same system that worked so well against Tottenham? Let me know your thoughts on that one. So please stay tuned to the channel, because I say lots of great stuff to come this weekend. It's a busy weekend. It's been busy on the channel, actually. Thanks to everyone for your support. Thanks for tuning in today. And I say please like before you leave. And in the meantime, of course, as always, heading into a big weekend for Arsenal and Arsenal women. Come on, you Gunners! Hove!